Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So it's Tuesday night, and I always do a Facebook Live about downsizing or decluttering. So tonight's topic is how decluttering in my 60s changed my life, and it can change yours too. So did you know that according to a University of California study, the average American home has over 300,000 items in it? 300,000, that's a lot. And no wonder Americans are stressed out by the amount of stuff in their homes. No wonder that they're having difficulty concentrating, focusing, and getting stuff done. And no wonder that one of the top 3 resolutions every year at the beginning of the year is to declutter and get organized. So it's springtime and people have another push to declutter and get organized. That's why I'm putting this topic out right now. So if you're one of the millions of Americans who are just fed up with the amount of clutter in your home, you're dealing with it every single day, and if you're experiencing a lot of that undue stress and having difficulty getting things done, just FYI, you're not alone, so join the crowd. But in tonight's video, I'm going to share something deeply personal with you that frankly I've never shared before. It's about one part of my decluttering journey in my 60s and how it changed my life. Because hopefully my story will inspire you and give you hope that it is possible to let go of some of those things that you hold on to, that you're attached to. And even though we no longer want them, need them, or use them, we somehow still, keep clinging to them. So hopefully tonight, after listening to my story, you'll be encouraged and motivated to start your own journey, excuse me, whether you're in your 60s or any other age, doesn't matter. Because when you declutter your physical possessions, you'll also be decluttering a lot of that mental clutter. And that's what makes you feel so much lighter, freer, and that's when you start living that simpler, more meaningful life. So when I started my decluttering journey, I owned a huge house that I built, and of course I'm a designer, so it was that time of my life. I just had to do it, and I don't know why now that I look back, but it was a big, beautiful house in the country, and every inch of it was filled with beautiful things, but there were also so many boxes in the basement, in my attic, and my garage that I had no idea what was inside of them. So as beautiful as it was to the eye, my cupboards, my closets, my drawers were filled with stuff that was hidden from plain sight, but I knew it was there. And that hidden clutter was always on my mind, and it did take a toll on me. Every waking minute I tried to keep organizing it, making it look pretty, making it look neat inside those drawers, inside those closets. But I couldn't seem to part with any of it, or much of it anyway, so I just kept making it look neat. And this is partly a confession, I suppose, but just by being vulnerable, I hope that it touches a nerve with you, because maybe that's you too. So my reality was, though, that I was attached to all of that beautiful stuff, and for a number of reasons. I might need it someday. It'll fit when I lose that extra 10 pounds. I spent too much money on it, so I can't just give it away. Those were some of the excuses that I kept having, and all of those reasons kept me stuck until one day, it was a cold, wintry day, I decided to organize one of my many closets, and it was a large walk-in closet, and my intention was to get rid of a few of the items. But when I opened that closet door, I don't know why, but I just looked around and I started to cry. I started to cry a lot. And I stood in the middle of that closet. I was overwhelmed at the challenge ahead of me, but it wasn't just that. What really hit me between the eyes was I had so many beautiful business suits, and so many of them still had tags on them. I had never worn them. So the tears kept pouring down my eyes. And when I thought about the excess in my life, not just in this closet, but in my other closets, my cabinets, my drawers, my dressers, everything else, I had so much. And yet my mind went to those women that I met in homeless shelters because I volunteer there. My mind went to women who you see begging on the street corner, or women who are struggling just to make ends meet. So that moment was the moment that really changed my life. I couldn't pack the boxes fast enough. I worked feverishly, actually for 2 to 3 hours, neatly packing all but 3 business suits. So that entire closet was empty except for 3 suits. It didn't matter anymore. Even though it was snowing outside and it was starting to accumulate, I loaded those boxes in my car and drove immediately to that women's shelter. Fortunately, they were open. And at that point, I was so warmly greeted by the women who helped, very graciously to carry all the boxes in. So as I drove away on that wintry day, I felt lighter, I felt happier, I felt relieved of that burden of all of that excess stuff. And I would never know who would be wearing those beautiful suits, but I did know one thing, and that they were now in the hands of someone who needed them, someone who would want them, and someone who would wear them. And that's what really mattered. So it took me about a year to declutter my remaining closets and drawers, and I was inspired and motivated every single time to live that simpler, more meaningful life with a lot less stuff and certainly a lot less stress. So I now live in a much smaller home, but I'm living a rich, abundant life with 95% less than what I once owned, and I've never been happier. So as the Downsizing Designer, I now have the privilege of being a national spokesman for downsizing and decluttering, living that simpler life with less. I get to speak to people just like you who want to declutter, but you don't know how to get started or how to stay motivated once you do start. So the journey is not easy, but just take it from me, it is worth it. It's worth every single tear, every single muscle that was sore. I do hope that you're inspired and motivated by my very personal downsizing and decluttering story, because it changed my life and it certainly can change yours too. So please continue to watch my videos on Facebook and on YouTube, read my blogs on my website, Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com. And please share your own decluttering stories, because you never know, you might be inspiring, one person right now. So inspire someone else who might just be starting out on their decluttering journey, but they're struggling. And then the reason you want to share it is because there's going to be other people out there just like you, and you never know, you might make a difference in their life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It'll be on Facebook in just a few minutes, and then we'll repurpose it on YouTube as well. Take care.